I'm Elisa Mortensen, and this is UndoRedo. Let's take a look at all the things that happen in life that we would like to undo and have a chance to redo. Hi, my lovely friends. I always want to tell you, you are truly amazing people, and I don't know if you have any idea how much you are actually helping me expand myself by you telling me about your own undo redos you're having in your life. You are creating this expansive and increasing in my own life. So you guys are really making some huge changes in your life, and I want to celebrate you. And I want to have you look back and notice how far you've come. Even if it's just a little bit, that's good. You've come forward. You're moving, you're gaining momentum, you have more knowledge than you did before, and you might quite possibly start using and applying that knowledge very soon whenever you decide to. Huge changes don't happen overnight, right? It takes many, many small and consistent baby steps to keep going. So keep going. You're doing it. I'm really super excited about my Undo Redo program that I made for 2024. It'll be its debut. I will be capping the number because I love having an intimate, smaller group. So to get the information, enter your email at lifecoachalisa.com. Mind-blowing experience of that retreat into a 45-day program. Making decisions on behalf of others, caregiving and people-pleasing that you have, and the burdens that come with it, you can cut out overwhelm and stress with a simple method that I use, and it works in 6 weeks. Maybe you just didn't know that life didn't have to be so miserable until now. The problems that come up for you are when you are not able to do what you said you would for yourself. So enter your email on lifecoachalisa.com to be sent all of the exciting details. You must enter for this program before January to be in this 50% off Undo Redo program debut. I will be working the bugs out, and then it will be full price after that. I want to tell you why the name of this podcast. I was so angry when I found life coaching. I thought it was going to be this solve all for my problems. In 2019, I kind of discovered life coaching and this game of mindset, and I thought I was just desperate enough to try to make it work, or maybe they knew something I didn't. And I started listening to podcasts. I started signing up for programs related to the topics that kind of resonated with me and my emotional pain and stress at the time. I found that it was helpful to hear people discussing these ideas around what I was struggling in. I was still so upset that no one was telling me specifically how to get out of my biggest problems. I have done therapy, I have done counseling, and it didn't solve anything. It was useful, and it had lots of learning and practices that I still use today and think about, but it didn't get me to where I knew or where I believed was possible for me. I just kept searching. I read scriptures, I pondered, I sent prayers to heaven as only a wife and a mother could, with such deep and heartfelt yearning for miracles and for things to change. And if you were to listen to me pray, it sounded a lot like this. Help them to blank. Help them not to blank. If you could just please make them blank. Give them, and I was just desperate, just give them blank. Why do they not see blank? Could you just show them blank? And then I just got to the point I was like, is this really my life? Why me? Do I not deserve to have support around me? I'm doing all I can to be obedient. Why aren't the blessings in my life presently, right now, today? Why do I not see these blessings that I was promised? I would go to religion class on Sunday, and during the week, faithfully, I would volunteer. I showed up to do whatever I was called to do I listened to brilliant people in podcasts and spiritual leaders and prophets. I prayed, I pondered, I studied hard. I worked out my physical body. I kept myself in shape almost every day. I tried eating as healthy as I could. I read the scriptures to my kids every morning. I did all this, and I was just wanting to hear back how to fix them or see that they were being fixed. I wanted to know how to fix everything, everyone around me. I was having to do everything for everyone else around me because they weren't capable, they couldn't, and they were making horrible decisions, everyone. How could I go to the place where I have the fairy tale life I was promised after a temple marriage and raising kids in God, in His way, with His word? How was I to receive these blessings, this promise of a fairy tale, and this happily ever after? So, in contrast to what I thought life would give me, I sat there in a bunch of unmet expectations, people I love who disappoint and give me every reason to believe that they would just write me off without hesitation. I wasn't being listened to, nor were they hearing me. I was broken, and I knew it, and they were all broken. I had validation of all of this in the form of intense anxiety and panic attacks. Okay, this intense emotional trauma that I had that just left me lying on the ground and held me in such fear. And unfortunately, I came to know this fear and this worry and being stuck in it really well. It overwhelmed me. I felt my health shift after a while in this state, and I really felt like I was not good enough. I couldn't do it all. I couldn't fix it all. And why isn't my life the way it should be? If I could just do better, if I could just do more, then I wouldn't be punished so much. And then I could be more and I could help them if I could just get there. And I just burnt myself out, basically. But I was doing all of the things that I knew I should, that I told I was supposed to do. Now to the part where this is what made me like mad about life coaching, okay? Life coaches be like, hey, I know all the ways to fix and solve your problems. Just pay me and I'll tell you. And then they never told me. Instead, do you know what they said? They said, you know what? You know just what to do. It's inside you. And I'm like, no, if I knew, then I wouldn't be here paying you to tell me. They also said, it's all in your thoughts about it. You need to be thinking positively. And this is what I was hearing them say, is just like the way I was thinking about it was like causing these problems. But I'm like, really? Because I think all day about all the crazy things that my people are doing and all the stuff I have to do for them that they can't do. And I pray every day that it stops or gets better, and it hasn't changed a thing. No amount of me thinking differently stops them from doing the craziness or helps me find any more time in my day or less worry about all the things that I have to do. I was just so mad. I have to do things for other people that no one else can do if I don't. I was just so angry, you guys. I would talk to the life coaches about the horrible things that other people were doing in my life, and they would literally turn it back on me every single time. I am like, what is this? They would tell me that I had a portion of the problem in me and how I was the one that was misaligned. It was all about how the people in my life doing all these horrible things, they had the right to do it. They didn't need to hear me out. They didn't need to do what I say. They didn't need to even love me back. In fact, they get to hate me. They get to be as mean as they want, and they get to hurt me over and over, and all of it, it was just going to be okay. Who says that? Who does that? I was beside myself. I had all the proof I needed to show them that what I do compared to what they do. I had all the proof I needed to show them what I do compared to what they're doing, and that I was right. about them needing to be corrected and that they needed to stop doing all those awful things. Does that make sense? And then one day, I prayed differently. I prayed with a specific question in my mind for Heavenly Father. And I held on to that question for a while. I decided to just keep looking until I got that answer. And it happened during reading of a scripture, and it was about how God sees his children. It led my mind to even those who are against God. Don't see him, don't acknowledge him, don't listen to him. And it really resonated with me. But I still didn't want to accept it. I was humbled, but I still had this side of sadness because I was part of the problem. So I sat in my self-righteousness for sure. But how was I part of the problem when I do all the right things? And I was contributing to the poor relationship? I was causing my own worry and my own pain? How is that possible? It turns out I wasn't as aligned as I thought I was. I was the cause of my own anxiety by taking on what wasn't mine. And I was harboring resentments by seeing them as being against me. I became a victim, which means I had no power or no choice. So that takes away my agency, and that is what held me in fear. Me. If I was part of the problem, then that meant, though, that I could do whatever it took to not be part of the problem. And that gave me hope. That I knew was possible. It felt like at least then I could have good conscience knowing I wasn't contributing. So if I could undo the part where I was part of the problem and no longer do that, then I could know at least I did everything I could on my side that I could control. And that thought seemed like it would give me more peace than where I was currently at. And once I saw that, there was no going back. I practiced and I practiced until I got better and better. And I do actually have more peace now. Life coaching hits that spot of self-righteousness. Life coaching shows you how to grab your power when you don't realize you don't have it. We all think we're in control. But life coaching shows you how to grab your own power, not theirs. Yeah, it calls you out. It feels like a call out. That's the part that made me mad. It makes you own in what ways you are contributing or perpetuating the poor relationships in your life, causing your own burdens, your worry, your anxiety, and your overwhelm in your own life. What is so perfect about this is once you experience where your power lies and how to access it, you get good at doing it. And you can see it. Even if you're not practicing it, you have the knowledge of knowing how to access it. And then one day you just try it. You're like, what the heck? I have nothing to lose. I'm going to try this. The one thing I will warn you of here, though, is that this all sounds good. Maybe it makes sense to you. Maybe it doesn't. But until you are with a life coach, being coached, and come to find out that it is so much different than you thought, you may not truly grasp what's possible and what can happen. It happens in ways that you don't see coming. There are sneaky little hidden things and beliefs that you were conditioned to think that you never chose, and you never would have known, and you never would have been able to have guessed it was holding you in misery because you didn't know it existed. It was you the whole time, but how? And it will blow your beautiful mind to find it with help from a life coach. I have been called to share this work with everyone who can see and hear of its truth about agency, dismantling what you thought before, finding things you need to undo, and rebuilding the things that you need to redo for a stronger and more intentional you in every way. If you thought of anyone during this episode, please share it with them, because that's how the heavens reach us, is through each other. And thank you for listening. Go enter your email for the UndoRedo program 2024 debut, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye.